So we're going to start with a little bit of chanting, where the Hare Krishna movement, if you haven't worked that out yet. Yes, that's right. So we're very famous for chanting. Chanting is a type of meditation that we do. So we have our world famous Kirtaniya, who's just flown in from India for tonight.
Oh, wow.
Jyoti. Not well. She is very talented. So she'll explain a little bit about what we're about to do, and then we'll do some chanting like that.
That was a good joke, wasn't it? Okay. So, very happy to see all of you here on a Saturday evening. You have dedicated it to spend it with the Hare Krishnas. That's wonderful. So, just before we begin the talk, we're going to have a few minutes of doing some mantra meditation. Mantra meditation, as the name suggests, it's a meditation based on a mantra. So, it's a very ancient form of meditating on very spiritual sounds that are not that do not come from this material strata. So mantra, the word man means the mind, and tra means to deliver. So mantra means it delivers the mind from this lower material strata and elevates it to a spiritual level. And it has very nice 3 benefits, which I will just quickly share with you. It's called the 3 P's, very easy to remember. First is peace. Second is purity, and third is pleasure. So it brings peace of mind because it calms down your mind, just like a boat which is rowing on the water. It's just, going here and there, there's a storm. But if someone pulls up the anchor, then after some time, the boat will settle down and it will just go its way nicely to its destination. Similarly, the mind nowadays, we all agree, it's in a mess, there's so much stress, so much anxiety day in, day out. But when we soothe the mind with the help of these mantras, then automatically we attain the peace that we all have been looking for. The second is purity. So purity because internally, we are very diseased. There might be some contaminations. There's some degree of lust, some degree of anger, some degree of greed, jealousy, so many things inside. Just like a person who is diseased, there's so much disease inside, but when there's a good medicine, he gets cured immediately. So similarly, this holy name, which is spiritual in nature, when it acts, when we hear it, and when we chant it, it automatically purifies us. It purifies our consciousness. And finally, when we have purification, when we have peace, then what do we get? Pleasure, yeah. So that's a result that we get. We attain pleasure and happiness that we're all looking for. So sound is a very powerful medium. By sound we will try to attain these things. So even mantra meditation, it's very powerful because it's through the medium of sound we try to tap the powerful energy of God. Alright? So what we're going to do is a call and response. I will be saying the mantra. The mantra is up there. It's called the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So like they say, Maha Mantra means the king of all mantras. So it's the king of all mantras that has been described in the Vedic knowledge. And this mantra has got 3 prime words. As we can see there, it's Hare, Krishna and Rama. So Hare represents the spiritual energy of the Lord through which we gain access to God Himself. And Krishna is one name of God which represents the all-attractive aspect. God is very attractive. Yeah? And then Rama. Rama means we can say the reservoir of pleasure. Ultimate pleasure is there in that. So through these sound vibrations, we will try to gain some access to that ultimate happiness that we are looking for. Yeah, so will you all join me in that? Yeah? Okay. So it's not me alone, it's all of us together. Okay? So some instruments that we'll be accompanying, this is a harmonium, that's a mridanga. We have Jai there for the mridanga, and for kartals we have Atulya. And we also have Krishna and Balaram who will be accompanying us. just calm yourself, just relax. If you like, you can close your eyes and you can just meditate on the sound. Just feel free and try to enjoy the experience. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Wonderful, thank you so much. You all were so nice, we feel like doing one, so we'll do one after the session, after the talk. Yeah, thank you.
So we'd like to thank Jyoti for coming all the way from India just to lay the chanting for us tonight. She'll be going back in about 3 hours. So you have a flight? Okay. So we'll make sure you get there. So my name's Keshava. I know a lot of you. A lot of old friends have turned up like that. Good to see you all. So we're from the Hare Krishna Valley, which is just over in Bamborough, which is just near Dean's Marsh, about half an hour from here. We have an ashram over there where we run retreats regularly, and we have a monthly open day that people come to visit also. We do biodynamic farming, and we have a dairy, which we're developing at the moment. For Ahimsa dairy means non-violence. We don't kill our animals. Our animals just live naturally with us for their whole lives. They all have names. We love our animals like that. So tonight's topic, does anyone remember the topic of the discussion tonight?
The essence of happiness.
The essence of happiness, yeah. And do you remember we advertised 3 people who had benefited from the teachings which we'll be discussing tonight? Anyone remember who those 3 people were? No? What was that?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Very good. Mahatma Gandhi. Albert Einstein. And one more you may not be so familiar with, Paul McCartney. Does everyone know these 3 people? Have you heard of these people? Anyone heard of Albert Einstein? Anyone heard of Mahatma Gandhi and Paul McCartney? 3 of the biggest names in history. So to begin with, we need to understand what is the common denominator between these three people. Obviously, they have many things in common, but there's something in particular that I'm looking for. So what's something that the three of them had in common? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? What's that?
Brilliant mind.
Very good, yeah. Brilliant minds. Yeah, very good. Yeah, all three of them changed history, actually, the three people. But something else I'm looking for also, like that. But that's very good. Very nice. What's that?
World peace.
World peace, yeah. All of them are battling for world peace. Yeah, yeah. Each one of them, yeah, in their own right. They all spoke about this subject. What else can we say?
They knew about something else.
Very good. Yeah, that's getting closer to what I'm thinking about. Yeah, each one of them got inspiration from this book, which is the Bhagavad Gita. Has anyone heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Hands up if you have heard of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, everyone on that side of the room. Okay. So I'm speaking to you guys tonight. This is the enlightened group somehow. So the Bhagavad Gita in India is like the Bible, basically. And it's spoken by Krishna himself, we believe, spoken by God himself, actually. Sometimes God, we say Krishna. That's a picture of him there, by the way. That's not the guy from Avatar. But it's... They got Avatar from us. The word avatar is actually Sanskrit. It actually comes from our literatures, the word avatar. Avatar means one who descends, like that. So I don't know for sure, but I think James Cameron, who directed the movie, I think he must be reading these books because, you know, everyone's blue. And it's called Avatar. So, and a lot of the concepts are very spiritual, about understanding the spirituality in all living entities, which is what this book is about understanding the spiritual common factor between all of us. So each one of them, Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, and Paul McCartney, they've studied these teachings and they've based their life upon these teachings. So as Hare Krishna devotees or practitioners, we study these teachings. I live my life by these teachings. I've been practicing this for 25 years and I've been living my life by these teachings. And it brings a great deal of inner happiness. So tonight we're going to speak about the essence of happiness. Now, quite often people say to us, I've been Hare Krishna for a long time, and people quite often say, oh, you guys always look happy. And it's true, we do feel a great sense of it. Not like I'm on this euphoric kind of, you know, bliss trip, like all the time, but yeah, we do feel a deeper sense of happiness. It's a deep sense of happiness. Now, where does that happiness come from? Anyone like to guess? Where do you get our happiness from?
Inner peace.
Inner peace, yeah, very good. And where is that inner peace coming from? That inner peace, that inner happiness, where is it coming from?
Mindfulness.
Very good, mindfulness, yeah. And if we go even deeper, because we'll speak about that tonight, that's nice, like that. Even deeper than the mind. What is deeper than the mind?
Soul.
What's that?
Soul. Spiritual.
Soul, very good, yeah, the soul. Okay, so it's coming from the soul. And if we go even a step further, what's even deeper than the soul? Yeah, it's good, very good. The universe, you could say that, that's good. Okay, so then I'm going to go a step further. What's even deeper than the universe? We're going to get deep here tonight. So. What's deeper than the universe?
Creation.
What's that?
Creation.
Very good, creation. Very good. Okay, so where does creation come from?
Universe. God.
Energy.
Energy, very good. God himself, very good. Okay, so we're getting there. So if there's creation, because we're all created, right? We didn't make ourselves. Take it for granted. Our bodies just were there. I just remember, like, kind of, you know, my youngest memory, I'm 18 months old. That's my youngest memory. I remember it was Easter, because I got a chocolate bunny. He was probably about, you know, that big, and I was probably about that big, so it was like, wow, I got chocolate. And that's my earliest memory. I was walking, you know, kind of toddling along, and then I opened a door and there's this big chocolate bunny there. I was like that. And it's like, you know, so I didn't create myself. I didn't create the bunny. I didn't create me like that. Where do we come from? What's the answer to this question? We say creation. So creation implies there must be a creator. Nothing appears by chance. It's a misnomer these days, which is very popular in society. You know, a big bang. They even have a television now, television series, the Big Bang Theory. So have you ever seen anything just appear from a bang? All right? Just like this building we're in now, imagine if I put dynamite under it and I just went, and it just went. Now, would it come back and land perfectly like this? Yeah? A big bang means chaos. So how did order come from just a bang? Right? Mathematically, it's actually not possible. It's not possible mathematically just to explode something and it just all falls back into order. Order means there must be a creator, a creation. It means there must be an intelligent designer. And the top scientist on the planet at this point in time, the Nobel laureates, not like the medium scientists, but the most intelligent scientists, the theory they're all speaking about at this point in time is intelligent design. There must be an intelligence behind everything. Because everything it's too ordered, it's too structured. So the deepest sense of happiness comes from connecting with that original personality. Now the next question would be, well, who is that personality? Like that. So we make it easy for everyone. We just put a picture of him up here. We're just saving everyone a lot of time because everyone goes a lot of time these days. So then people would say, well, how do you know that's the original personality? Like that. That's a very good question. How do we know it's the original personality? It's something, for me at least, it's a very deep thing. Like that. It's something that I've found within myself. And it has to be found by each one of us individually. I can't say to you, well, this is the way, the truth, and the light. This is it, like that. You have to find it for yourself. But I'm just trying to make it a little bit quicker for you. Yeah, it's like spirituality for dummies. Like that. Not that you're dummies, but I'm just saying. No. Okay, I'll start again. Yeah. I wasn't looking over here when I said that. I was actually looking to this side when I said that. No, okay, I'm a dummy. Okay, I'm a dummy, so I need it simple. Right? So just let's make it simple. Let's get there as quick as we can, like that. So the essence of happiness, according to what we practice and what I've been practicing for years, is to connect with that original personality. All of us want to connect to something. We all have different names for it. We have different definition for it. But we want to connect to something. And when you have that, that is the essence of happiness. That is what makes you whole. And it doesn't matter what life does to you. You still feel centered. Even you're in the middle of the hurricane. Does anyone here, your life sometimes feels like a hurricane? Anyone here know what I'm talking about tonight? You're all going, So I think we've got at least this side of the room. The enlightened side, they're all like, don't know what you're talking about, man. So it's like, it's all bliss, like that. But this side of the room, they're suffering. Yeah, like that. They're starting to move their seats across. We're getting closer. So I know myself, because life just throws things at you. That's your previous karma. You cannot avoid it. There's a saying in India that even if you go to heaven, your forehead goes with you. So in other words, your forehead, when you walk into a room, your forehead gets there before you. So in other words, your karma is already waiting for you. What's coming tomorrow, it's already there. So don't spend all your time trying to avoid your problems, because your problems are just going to come. I mean, I live on a farm. I live out in Hare Krishna Valley, and the Otway is like, oh, it's beautiful and everything, but it just comes. You just get phone calls, from people and they're just like, oh, and then suddenly it's like, oh my God. That's life. You can't escape that. But when you have this deep spiritual happiness and connection to the higher, so we say Krishna, then no matter what life throws at you, you just feel happy, you just feel satisfied. And it's kind of like Krishna gives an example in the Bhagavad Gita. He said, you have to become like a tortoise. When it starts raining and hailing and the storm comes, what does the tortoise do? He just goes in himself, waits for it to pass. It passes. That's something I've experienced in life. And that's something Krishna taught when he came 5,000 years ago to Earth. he actually said to one of his friends, Arjuna, who's a very famous warrior like that, he said, he wrote a letter for him, and he gave him the letter, and he said, open this letter in your darkest hour. So Arjuna kept the letter with him for years. And when he went through his most difficult time, he opened the letter. And Krishna had written in golden writing, he said, this too will pass in time. So even your most difficult struggles, they pass, they go. Everything's temporary in this world. You don't take this world so seriously. That's one thing, the Hare Krishna, that's why we all always look happy. We just don't take it that seriously. Because the world's crazy. I wrote the whole thing off years ago. 25 years ago, I just said, it was nice knowing you. See you next time. I'm going to go and hang out with these guys. And George Harrison said that many years ago. Anyone heard of George Harrison? Yeah, good friend with Paul McCartney. No, they're in the same band. What was the band called? Oh, that's right. Cockroach, yeah. So he said many years ago, he said, if I have to be counted, I'll be counted with those guys. He met the Hare Krishna guys. He was a good friend of ours. He said, I'll be counted with those guys, because at least they're happy. Like that. So Subi, can you start? We'll start going through. So the essence of happiness. So there's a lot of problems in the world these days. I don't know if you've noticed. Does anyone watch the news? Yeah. Hands up if you've got a television. Hands up if you haven't got a television. 1, 2, 3, 4, good, 5, good, 6. I'm one of them. Okay, 6.5, your one's broken. Yeah. That's good. I voluntarily don't have a television because I find the news depressive and it doesn't suit me. It's not my nature to be depressive. So I don't even watch the news because it just tells me all about this stuff. We all know what's happening. So why I don't need to hear about it. So there's problems in the world. And the reason there's problems in the world from these ancient teachings, the perspective is because we're disconnected from our source. We're disconnected from our actual spiritual essence. We don't understand our spirituality. And that's what's vacant in the world, especially if you look in Western civilization, it's just a lack of spirituality. Right? There's a whole lot of stuff which really isn't that important going on. Like, who cares about the AFL football grand final? Besides you. But who, besides this enlightened soul over here, who really cares about the AFL like that? Like, we don't care, it's just a game. But let's put it back in perspective. It's just a game. It's just some fun. Football's fine. It's just fun. It's not what it is these days. When it becomes, like you go to India, I've seen billboards in India, right? Sport is religion. Like that's what society's like these days. Like, it's just become everything which is not that important becomes the most important thing. And I was listening to Lee Matthews. They voted him to be the greatest AFL footballer of the last century. So I think you know Lee Matthews is a famous footballer. So he said in the 1970s when he was playing football, he said we didn't have sports psychologists. Because if we lost the match, we just went and had a shower and we went home. Who cares? You lost the match. What's the big deal? These days you've got to have a sports psychologist in case you get psychologically mixed up from losing the AFL grand final. So it's off track. And this is because we're disconnected from our actual spiritual essence at this point in time. So Subi, okay, go. Okay. I got these slides from a friend of mine over in India. So he's really trying to hit it on the head. I was looking for essence of happiness, and I was looking for the slides that were appropriate. And this is actually a different seminar, but these are the ones he had, so they're pretty, like that. But we can. So are we really advancing in the right direction? So you can see, society's becoming more and more complicated. We're becoming more and more materially advanced, but we're becoming less and less spiritually focused. So then what's the point of civilization? Just like I saw one comedian recently, and he was saying, kids these days, right? Kids these days are really spoiled. In the next generation, they're really starting to lose the plot. Yeah, they're always like this, looking at something. So he said he was on a plane, and they're flying 36,000 feet in the air, and the kids are like, doing their thing, and he was sitting next to the kid, and the kid goes, oh, the internet's slow. Because it was taking like 1 second to, like that. That's what the generation's like these days. And he said to the kid, do you understand what we're doing right now? We're floating at 35,000 feet in the air. That's pretty amazing. That's not normal. Like, humans can't float. I mean, float, right? And what you're doing now, it goes to outer space and comes back. And you say, oh, it's slow. It's mixed up. So even though, you know, we're progressing, but we're becoming more and more disconnected from ourselves. So there's something wrong. So out at Hare Krishna Valley, we're trying to live a more simple life. We just simplify things. You know, we try to just stay away from these material things and try to just live a more simple, happier life. A simple life is very conducive for spirituality and inner happiness. We can reduce things. I often tell people, if you want to simplify your life, take everything in your house and just put it on your front lawn. And just put back inside what you actually need. And you'll see that 90% of it's still on the front lawn. And we're wondering why we're not happy. Well, that's, if we can go to the next. Okay, so why is there so much chaos and confusion in society? We've already answered that, because we're spiritually disconnected. It's quite simple. That. So what is modern life giving us? Let's press again. Okay. Entertainment, that's everything these days. We've got to be entertained, we've got to be entertained. People aren't happy. You can get anything these days. You can download anything, you can do anything, you can be anywhere in the world in a split second, but people still aren't satisfied. We're seeing society, you know, problems in society on the rise. Everything's so perfect, everything should be getting much better. Like that. Right? We have comforts, everyone wants comforts, everything's got to be perfect and comfortable, and the right temperature in our houses have got to be so developed. But people just aren't happy, even though they have all these material facilities. They actually did a survey recently. The happiest country in the world was which? Which country ranked number one? Every year it changes, but the recent survey I saw, which country was the happiest in the world?
Bhutan normally wins.
Bhutan, yeah. I think the one I saw was Bangladesh, but Bhutan's right next door, like that. The people are happy, right? Because they haven't got things, right? You want to be happy, get rid of most of your stuff. You'll be a lot happier. Be simple, like that. So even though we've got all these comforts, we're not going to happiness at this point in time. Okay. Medicines, but no health. Huh? You have to pay high prices. You have to drive down to Anglesey and pay high prices to get organic food. But 60 years ago, everything was organic. And now we're so intelligent, we put all the chemicals on the food. Really intelligent. Like that. And now we have to go to the doctors to solve our problems. And what do they give you? More drugs. I personally don't take allopathic medicine, Western medicine. Very rarely. Last time I took it was about 15 years ago. I don't even take Disprins, aspirins, all those things. 15 years ago I had to take some antibiotics because I got a chest infection and it just wouldn't kick, so I took some antibiotics. But otherwise I don't touch it. Like that. Do I look unhealthy? No. So if you want to be healthy, just live naturally. Okay? Cosmetics, but not youth. Cosmetic industry, I think it's the second biggest industry on the planet, right? Just so you can put all this stuff on your face, like that. Very important, isn't it? Right? God knows what you're putting on your face, and God knows what it does to you. So you can see the direction society's going in. And life supports systems, but not life. So our lives are becoming. It's supposed to be becoming better. The quality is supposed to be becoming better. Our health is supposed to be becoming better. Our peace of mind is becoming better, but we're going in the opposite direction as a mass. The medical industry is one of the other biggest industries on the planet at this point in time. So, next. Okay, that's a picture of me when I was young. That's a picture of me now. No. Okay, so now the mind is covering the soul. Now, it's very important that our mind becomes focused if we want to progress spiritually. Now, the problem is these days that people got a lot of stress in their minds. So we have to learn to de-stress our mind if we want to reach our spiritual goal. So that's part of understanding how to become spiritually progressed and reconnect with our spiritual nature. We have to understand how the mind works. So we'll go through, if you can just push. Okay. So first of all, these ancient teachings describe that our soul is covered by a gross body, which is this body which we see here. And it is described that it's made of 5 elements. Earth means like flesh. Water, our body is about 78% water. Fire, you can see my hands are red. There's heat in there, fire. Air, right? A lot of that in this region. and ether. Ether means space, like that. So our bodies are basically made of those elements. And then below that body, we have the subtle body. What's the subtle? What's below this body? Right? There's the body which has three other elements. Right? It is called the mind, the intelligence, and the ego. This also covers our soul. So mind is, what is the function of the mind? What does the mind do? Thinks, yep, very good. What else does it do? If you analyze the thoughts that we have, how do we define the mind?
It's just memories.
Memories? Memories, yeah, very good, very good. But it specifically has two functions, the mind. If you analyze what you think about all day, what does it do?
Discriminates.
No, that's the intelligence. That's a different...
Problem solves?
Problem solve, yeah, that's also intelligence. Mind accepts and rejects. That's basically what mind does all day. I like this, but I don't like this. Right? I want to do that, but I don't want to do that. This is good, but this is bad. That's basically, if you look at your mind, that's all you do. And if you want to see someone's mind working, right, you just go into a clothing shop. Right, just follow someone around in a clothing shop. Oh, I like this, but I don't like that. Oh, I like this, but I don't like that. It's just the mind. Oh, like that. And most people are just controlled by their minds. Right? They're just on this mental, and they're disconnected from their soul because they're just covered by the mind. Oh, I like this, but I don't like that. Oh, I like this, but I don't like that. And then you see people, they live their whole lives like that. But they're spiritually bereft. It doesn't bring happiness. Okay, so you get all the things that you want. I like this, I like this, I like... You get it all. Are you still happy? You know Marlon Brando? You heard of Marlon Brando? Anyone? Yeah, famous guy, right? His daughter committed suicide many years ago, right? He gave her an island. Didn't give her a house, brought her an island. Helicopter, she had everything that the mind could want. She killed herself, right? So this is not the way to happiness. Don't just follow the dictates of the mind. Right? Understand how the mind works. Right? And then intelligence is meant to discriminate. Intelligence is the discriminatory factor. Okay, the mind says, I want this, but the intelligence says, hey, wait a minute, it's not good for you. Right? So intelligence is meant to become strong. How does the intelligence become strong? By reading books like this. Right? It's like doing push-ups for the intelligence. When the intelligence is strong, it controls the mind. Otherwise, the mind just does whatever it wants, and your life becomes whatever it will become. Right? So you have to make your intelligence strong, so it stays focused on the goal. Right? And then the final part that covers us is called the ego. Anyone have one of these? Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So when you were talking about the mind, you were describing it as I, but isn't that the false ego doesn't the mind just bring up things without necessarily attaching anything to them? They're just in, one image after another. It's only when the ego attaches to it that it becomes mine, which is not the mind, is it?
Becomes mine, like I and mine? Yeah, aham mameti, like that? Yeah, you can say it like that. Yeah, so ego means a false concept of who we are. Right? That's what ego is. And all of us have this. We have a false concept of who we are. You see, when people have big egos, you know it. Right? Anyone got an example of someone who had a big ego? I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Big ego, right? But now he's like, like that. So it doesn't pay to have a big ego, a false understanding of who we are. And it takes us away from our spirituality. The most highly progressed people are the most humble, who actually understand their position. And what is our position? We're pretty small. Doesn't matter who you are. Just like the guy who was the founder of judo brought it to the Western world. I can't remember his name though. Does anyone remember his name? The original judo master? I can't remember his name. But anyway, when he died, because he was a black belt, obviously, it was like the highest. Like that, he said, bury me in a white belt. He said, bury me in a white belt. Like that, because I've learned nothing. So this is the attitude that we should have. If you want to become spiritually progressed, you want to get actually in touch with yourself, you have to understand. It doesn't mean you don't. We don't have to be all like, how do you say it, like, self-depraving all the time. Walk around, oh, I'm really bad. I'm really, it's not like that. But it just means have a reality, a state of realness about yourself. and understand your spiritual nature. So, to understand our spiritual nature, we have to understand what we aren't. So we're not this body. The body is just temporary. This will die, right? It only lasts a few years anyway. It's a machine which doesn't, it runs well when you're young, but as you get older, it starts really deteriorating quickly. And the mind also, that has its limitations, the intelligence, the ego. And then next, very high tech, the soul. That's who we actually are. So to understand our real happiness, we have to come back in contact with our soul and connect to our original. So we'll go to the next. Okay, so this is the mechanisms of the mind. So the mind basically takes control of the body. How does the mind enjoy? Through the five senses: the eyes, the tongue, the smelling, the ears, the hearing, and touching, right? And then also through the five working senses: the hands, the speech, the legs, the anus, the rectum, right? So we're trying to enjoy, the mind is trying to enjoy through this body. But the problem is in society these days is people think that is the way of happiness, just by enjoying through the body. If I get more to taste all the things I want to taste, if I hear all the things I want to hear, touch all the things I want to touch, right? And just constantly involved with the senses, they think that is the way to happiness. But that is just dragging us away from our true spiritual nature. So, go to the next. Okay. So sometimes you see the people, it's like they're being pulled in every direction by their senses. Right? The senses are trying to drag us. And see, most people in society these days are just like slaves to their senses. Right? Just like I was down in the city recently, next to one of the work sites where they're building, one of the buildings in Melbourne, and all the men who work on the site, all the construction workers, and all day, they're up there on the fence and they're doing their work, and then a girl walks past, and they're all like, and then another one walks past, and they're like, just controlled by the senses. How can you understand your spiritual nature when you're just controlled by the senses? So the purpose of spiritual life is to grab control of your mind, your senses, then you can progress spiritually. Next. Okay, now we have these 6 urges. Right? Now these 6 urges, urges means things that we have to overcome if we want to progress spiritually. Okay, so the urge to speak. So you see these days people like to speak about everything. Some people just talk constantly like that and don't, do you know anyone like that? Just like to talk all the time like that. But what are they actually talking about? So the way to progress spiritually, we have to learn to talk about things which have some, it doesn't mean we have to all the time just be speaking about spiritual things, but at least have some spiritual content in your life so that you can progress a little bit. Right? The urge of the mind, right? Wherever the mind is taking you. So we need to control the mind, we've already said that. Right? The urge of anger. Does anyone have an anger management problem? Probably don't want to put your hand up. But many people are smiling. So all of us, we deal with these things. Now, where does anger come from?
Unhappiness.
Unhappiness, very good.
Mind.
Very good, from the mind. Very good. But specifically, it comes from one point. Anger is called, in Sanskrit, in these ancient, it's called kam anuj. So we'll explain that. But where is it coming from? If we're angry, what's causing the anger? Right? It's frustrated desire. It's coming from desire, which we can't fulfill, and then we become angry. So you see, people who are angry, it's just that their desires are being unfulfilled, right? And a lot of the desire, if you analyze the desires probably aren't a big deal anyway. Just like sometimes I see the football on television, and you see when one team kicks the goal, and then the other team, all the supporters in the crowd, they always like, I'll kill you. So much anger, frustrated desire. So this is the problem in society, that people have frustrated desires, because if you analyze your desires probably aren't that important anyway. I know for myself, I don't become angry very often. I mean, it's not like I don't have anger, but I don't become angry because I just put things in perspective in life. You don't have to get so worked up about it. So, people get angry about the most silly things. I remember I was in a car park a couple of years ago, and I backed back, and then the other guy backed back, and we almost hit each other. And he beeped the horn, and he got out of the car, and he's like, I thought, oh my God, it's just like, I just backed my car back, It was like, and then suddenly I was in a life-threatening situation. He got out, and he's like, really? And I just got out, and I said, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh, okay. Got back in the car and then just drove on. So, people just have to put things in perspective. So anger is an urge which needs to be controlled if you want to go to a higher spiritual. The urge of the tongue. People like to eat too much these days. And not just because Australia, the whole Western civilization is overweight, is obese, me included. I'm a Hare Krishna, so I've got an excuse because our food's good. But but the point is that people are eating too much. There's also a urge which needs to be controlled, like that. I'm not very good at speaking about that one. So people are like, what the hell are you saying, man? Okay, the urge of the belly, like that, just to want to eat more and eat more, and then the urge of the genitals. So people are just controlled by their genitals these days. Basically, society is running on their genitals, right? Whenever they want to sell something to you, what do? Just put a woman on there. I mean, I was driving in Adelaide. I was there, I lived in Adelaide for a couple of years. I was driving down the road one time, and I looked up and there's a big billboard, and there's this girl in bikinis, and she's, like there, and I looked at her and I what's she advertising? And then I read on the bottom, and it was kitchen tiles. I thought, what the hell, man? You dress like that in your kitchen? Or what's up? What's that about? That's not normal. So the whole society is just being governed by their genitals. Right? If I can stimulate your genitals, I control you, right? So it's an urge which needs to be controlled. If you want to understand your spiritual nature, then you have to control these things. So without these urges being controlled, you don't make spiritual progress. And society these days is telling you, do all these things. Say whatever you want, do whatever you want, have sex with whoever you want, and be happy. And is society happy? Hell no. That's not working. Right? So that's what we're trying to present. If you want to get to inner happiness, there has to be a little bit of control in life. Like that. So I go to the next. Okay. So desires don't need to be expressed or suppressed. It's not about doing the things that you want to do too much or repressing yourself. But as it says here, it's about subliminating your desires, which means making them pure. So we make our desires spiritual. We like to eat nice food. Hands up if you like to eat nice food. Really? Okay. Hands up if you've ever eaten Hare Krishna food before. Okay, most people like that. Hands up if you're a Hare Krishna food addict. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9. Yeah, you come to the cooking retreat, so you must be like that. I am. I'm an addict. I like the Hare Krishna food. You've got to be addicted to something, I'll be addicted to the Hare Krishna food. It's pretty damn good, right? So, right, that's called subliminating your desire. We all like to eat nice food, but the Hare Krishna food, it is a little different, because it is cooked in pure consciousness. When we cook the food, we don't just cook it for ourselves, but we cook it for Krishna. We cook it for the Supreme. We cook it for our higher. So when we cook it first before we eat it, the boys cook before, we have a lovely meal for you after, I finish boring you with my talk. Then we have a nice meal. The boys have cooked it and they've offered it to Krishna with love. Like that. It's cooked for all of you with love. Now that consciousness which goes into it, right, that purifies you. When you eat the food, just by eating the Hare Krishna food, I know, it's one of the reasons why we're happy. Because the food's cooked in a spiritual state of consciousness. Right? Have you seen sometimes, you go to a hamburger place, or I don't eat those things, but if you go to a hamburger place or something, and you see the guy who's cooking the food, and the vibration that he's in, I mean, how's that going to affect you? Right? Because the vibration carries through the food. So there's a way of subliminating or making ourselves more spiritual. We all have to cook, but when we cook, make it as an offering to Krishna or to the Supreme, like that, and make it a spiritual experience. Like that. And that way it purifies your consciousness. So it doesn't mean we have to give up things. It just means we have to purify it. Like that. And I know for myself, the Hare Krishna food, it's so good. You know, the first time I moved in, I came to the temple, I visited the Hare Krishna temple in Albert Park 25 years ago, so I walked in there and, you know, I was dressed in a suit and everything because I wanted them to notice me. So I dressed in a suit, you know, like looking really like, you know, and they just walked past me a couple of times. And I thought, wow, these guys are really spiritual, you know, they're like, and finally one of them said, you know, would you like to come and have lunch? I said, yeah, of course, I'd love to eat. So I went up there and then they served me the meal and they said, would you like some more? And I said, yeah. And they said, would you like some more? And I said, okay, and then more. So I had this delicious meal. And then afterwards, I spoke to one of the monks for 2 hours. And I said, so what do I do to join up? Yeah, he said, you know, if I can eat this every day, I'll come and live here. And the guy said, yeah, well, you just go shave your head and put on a dress. I said, okay. So, yeah, so that's what I've been doing for the last 25 years. Don't tell my boss, but it's like, that's why I became a Hare Krishna, the food. Not just, but, you know, but it's an important feature. Like that. So we all like to eat good food, but it's we have to subliminate things, which means make it spiritualized, like that. Just don't eat for yourself. You know, there's no pleasure in just doing things for yourself. If you really want to be happy, just stop worrying about like I always say to people, you know, Mother Teresa, what did she live for? Everyone else, right? You ever read about Mother Teresa waking up being depressed? Or with bipolar? Or with this, or with that, or with, you know, everyone's so crazy these days. You know why everyone's crazy in society these days, all the mental disease? Because it's all about us. I mean, some people really do have problems. That's, you know, that's there. But most of it's just because we're so into ourselves. If you just get out of yourself for a minute, you'll be happy. Now, of course, you'll be miserable if you think about yourself all day. Yeah. So stop thinking about yourself all day, you know, and start living for someone else. Mother Teresa says, help the person next to you. When? Today. Don't worry about the people in Africa. I mean, not that don't worry about the people, but start helping the person next to you. He's got problems as well, right? And then you'll be a happy person. That's next. Okay, so different types of thoughts. So obviously we have to start training the mind to go into positive thoughts. If we want to understand our spirituality, right, we have to live in a particular way, right? So if you're going to live with a negative kind of mindset, you're never going to understand your spirituality. So there's positive thoughts that all of us have to cultivate if we want to get to where we want to get to. Okay, this one's a nice one. I like this slide. Okay. So the benefits of managing your mind. So if you want to be happy and you want to get to your spiritual life, you have to start controlling the mind a little bit. We've spoken about this tonight. So if you do control your mind, you'll get freedom from your negative emotions, right? You begin to eliminate your distractions. You'll have your focus in life. And you'll have peace, satisfaction, and happiness. And that's basically what a Hare Krishna lifestyle is. Right? How does your spiritual life become spoiled? Okay? These are 6 problems which you have to be very careful of. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. This is a big problem in society these days. Everyone wants more and more and more and more and more. I heard about, what was that you were telling me a while ago? One of the actors in Hollywood, Keanu Reeves, right? Anyone knows Keanu Reeves? Did The Matrix? Famous guy, right? So, Money was telling me, he saw an interview with him, then basically he just keeps a certain amount of money for himself, the rest he just gives away. All right? Because the guy's rich. Like, he gets big bucks for these movies he made. The Matrix, like, God knows how much he got paid, but he works out in life, I just need this much, and the rest, you know, he just gives it to whoever needs it like that. So if you want to be happy, the whole society these days, I've got to have more, I've got to have more, I've got to have more, but people aren't happy, it's not working, right? Over-endeavouring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. People work so hard to get things, right? They'll just get their life just to get a new car, and then a new car, and then like my grandfather's 87, right? And then I spoke to him a couple of years ago, and he goes, I just got a new car. I didn't say it to him, but I thought, why would you get a new car? Like, you're 87 years old. Do you need a new car? Yeah, and then I spoke to him the other day, and he goes, I got a new ride-on mower. I thought, brilliant. Like, like, what's that? I need a new one. What's that about? You know, you're 87. Just be happy. Just be peaceful. Okay. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subjects. Does anyone do this here? Okay. Everyone's not looking at me, so obviously. People just talk these days about things. It doesn't, like, sometimes I look at people and I say, what are you actually trying to tell me? You know, I think it was Socrates. Socrates, you know, famous Greek philosopher, he said 3 things. He said, first of all, is it true? He said, one guy was talking to him, he said, is what you're saying true? And he goes, oh, I'm not sure. He goes, okay. And he said, is this actually going to benefit me? And the guy was, oh, I'm not actually sure. Like that. And he said, is it about someone else? Or are you just telling me about you and me or like that? Because usually we're talking about someone else. So, what are you actually telling me? This is the point. So we've got to get off this if we want to spiritually progress. Practicing scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them. A lot of people do that these days. They just follow things but actually not understanding why we're doing it. Even I know, like Hare Krishna people sometimes, they're just doing it but they don't actually know why we're doing it. If you want to progress, you have to know why it is that we're doing these things. Have an education. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in spiritual progress. So the more you associate with materialistic people, the more materialistic you're going to be. And the more you associate with spiritual people, the more spiritual people you're going to be. So if you want some spiritual people, just come down the farm and we'll hang out with you. Like that. If you want. Like that. So we're there anyway. So. And being greedy for Monday. And this is one of the big problems in society these days. People are just too greedy. And this destroys your spiritual life. And then the next one. Sui. So these are 6 things that we should do if we want to progress in our spiritual life. First thing is be enthusiastic. You have to be into it. Right? If you're not enthusiastic, it's very difficult. So you have to be into it. Now, where does enthusiasm come from? How do we get enthusiastic about something? Right? If there's pleasure in it. So spiritual life has to be pleasurable. So like being a Hare Krishna, it's pleasurable. It's not like we all sit around all day and just like we've got a tennis court up the road from our farm, so I went up there to play tennis, with my brother, because he lives down at our farm with me. And then I got there, and then one of the neighbours was there. The guy who lives down the road from us. And we got there, and we got out of the car, and we walked up, and he was playing tennis, and we just came to play. And he goes, "Oh, you've stopped praying all day, have you?" I just looked at him like, "What do you think I do, man?" Like, I just sit around all day, and I just go like. And then after 9 hours, I said to my brother, "You want to go and play tennis?" Like, what the hell? But yeah, that's what I do with my life. I just sit around and like, like that. Oh, what is that? So you get enthusiastic about something you're getting pleasure from. So I know as a Hare Krishna, it's very pleasing. We don't just sit around all day, but it's very pleasing. We eat really good food. It's very pleasurable. We dance, we sing like that. When I became a Hare Krishna, my grandmother said to me, because I was an actor, when I was studying acting before I became a Hare Krishna, said, "You're just a frustrated actor. You just want to go down the street and everyone will just look at you and you just dance and sing." I said, "No." I said, "I actually get some spiritual pleasure out of it. Not just like, shave my head and wear orange and go down the street like that. We're actually getting something, there's something going on in here. That's why we're doing it." Like that. We have to be confident of our goal, that we will achieve our goal. I'm confident that I will get something higher from doing this. I feel that there's something powerful waiting for me, like that. We have to be patient, because it takes time. You don't become enlightened overnight. These days, everyone wants everything quick, right? Spiritual life doesn't work like that. You can't just think you're just going to get all of it. You're not going to get enlightenment in 5 weeks for $500. I've seen these things advertised in New Age magazines. $500, 5 weeks, you'll become God. Okay. Acting according to the ancient teachings, hearing it. So we have to do these. We have to practice these spiritual things. These things that we do here, that we're teaching you, this chanting and that, we do this every day. We don't just do this on, at Torquay twice a year or whatever. We're doing this all the time. Right? Spiritual life has to become a part of your life. Even if it's 10 minutes a day, even if you just do this chanting for 10 minutes a day, you'll get a lot of benefit out of it. I've been doing this for 25 years, 2 hours every day. I do meditation for 2 hours every day. That mantra that we were just chanting before, we also chant it on beads in a meditative way for 2 hours every day. And it totally connects you to Krishna, to a higher state of spiritual bliss. Otherwise, how can you say something, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? How can you say something for 2 hours every day? Right? And if you One way to prove that what I'm saying or that the mantra is spiritual, try to chant something else for 2 hours a day. Just try it. Try to chant Coca-Cola for 2 hours. Just try it sometime. Just go and sit in your house and just go Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. It doesn't work. Hare Krishna, you can actually do it and you get into a deep state of spiritual bliss. It does work. There's something in the mantra. Like that. Abandoning the association of materialistic people. So people are too materialistic, we have to be careful. And following the footsteps of the previous great spiritual teachers. If you want to become spiritually wise, you have to follow in the footsteps of the great teachers of the past. And there are many great teachers of the past who were there. Okay, sweet. Mantra. So that's what we do. We chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So man means mind and tra means to release. So when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, our minds become released from material concepts and you become deeply, very spiritually happy. Like that. Or to deliver, yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit more mantra meditation. We're going to see, is our world famous singer still here? Like that, Jyoti? Oh, you're there, okay. Please come. And the band, are the band still here? Krishna, Balaram, like that. So we're going to do a little bit more chanting. So just chant with an open mind, an open heart, and try to feel some spiritual, just go deep within yourself and try to touch something spiritual within yourself. If it doesn't work, we'll give you your money back. Money back guarantee on this mantra, but it's very powerful. So just chant it with an open heart and open mind. We'll do it for a few minutes, and then if anyone's hungry, you can join us for something to eat. And if you're not hungry, we'll see you next time. I was joking. We're good. Everyone can. We'll have something to eat. Okay.
So we all had a wonderful session, didn't we? Very enlightening. And we're just going to wind up quickly with the mantra meditation because there's a very nice, delicious meal waiting for all of you. So just before that, we'll have some fun by chanting. Yeah? So it's the same process, call and response. I chant first and then you all repeat and then I chant and together we enjoy the bliss. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, You can clap your hands if you like. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama So one last time we'll do it together. Okay, we all together. Yeah? So with all your heart, just try to chant the mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare together, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, one last time, a little louder, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Thank you so much.